And we're live.
Hello, everyone. This is Dwayne Golden Sr.
And Dwayne Golden Jr., what's up, guys?
Good to see you this night. And John, not sure what challenge you have with the link. Not sure what's going on there, but thank God you're here. Good to see all of you here tonight. You probably have trouble hearing me because I have my microphone far away, but I brought it closer. How about that? All right. So tonight we talked to you in the email message about this concept of buying leads, and we're going to get to that. We also wanted to know as you get different emails, what's going on, Jerry. We're excited about this concept, sharing it with you as you guys continue to grow your businesses using the internet. I don't know if much more that's as valuable as what you're going to hear tonight. We'll also see some of you in West Palm Beach, Florida on the 23rd, 24th of October. Looking forward to that. Dwayne Jr., as we get ready to dive into tonight's concept, I know that people aren't talking about it, and people aren't really teaching it at this level. What is it that really got your attention about why this is important tonight?
Well, it's important because I tell the majority of companies on the internet today that are actually making money, this is how they're doing it. They're, instead of like hoping this one campaign works, they can predict the amount of customers they're going to get by spending a certain amount of money. So that's why they call it buying customers. So I want to dive into a little bit today. Obviously, I can't get into everything, but yeah, we're going to get into it a bit and give you guys the concept and hope you guys can run with it.
Cool beans. So here's the deal. You're going to hear the breakdown tonight. If you need to, certainly take some notes on it so it can be clearer for you. But this idea of buying your customers, it's a concept that's not new. It's just something you're going to hear it broken down in a way that you can utilize it. Now, we're going to give you a tip of the iceberg tonight so you can really grasp this. We're going to cover it in great detail in our live event we'll be doing in West Palm Beach. But we don't want you to miss this. So Dwayne Jr., it's all yours. I want you to take them down the road where they can understand this concept and certainly see why it's so widely used amongst people who are generating lots of money on the internet.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to go into it quick. I'm going to share my screen, and then once you guys can see my screen, go ahead and type in the number 1. All right, I'm going to have to go in and out of this thing for a little bit. So when you guys can see my screen, let me know. Okay, so this deal is called buying customers. What is this all about? Here's what it is in a nutshell, It's all about knowing how much you can spend, how much you need to spend in order to acquire a customer in advertising. This isn't about spending $1 million necessarily. You could spend a little bit of money and have this still work, as long as you know your metrics and you know how to track certain things. A lot of people who go into business online don't track anything, so they can't predict anything. They don't know how many leads they can expect to get the next day. They don't know how many leads they need before they make a sale. So we're going to get into all that kind of stuff. And as you guys are going in and typing in number 1, cool. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. So what does it mean? How does it work? The most important part is understanding your lifetime value per customer. In other words, to put this in regular terms, how much money do you make when a customer buys from you? This is important because that's how much you can determine to spend. So if you know how much you're going to make from each customer, you know how much you can afford to spend for each customer. Make sense? Moving forward, the first step in this formula is you guys are going to write this down or save this somewhere. This is very important stuff. I'm only going to get into a little bit of it. At our conference live in West Palm Beach, we're going to open up our computers and show you exactly what we mean with this whole formula thing. I'm only going to give you guys the tip of the iceberg. And then down in West Palm Beach, you guys can, talk to us live and talk about how we can implement this in your own business. But for now, this is what we can afford to do with the time spot we have allotted here. So step 1, figure out your cost per customer. Like I just said, once you know your cost per customer, then you can determine if it makes sense to continue to move forward. So I mentioned before how much each customer is worth to you. Next is the cost per customer. How much money can you afford to spend per customer? For example, what do I mean? If I spend $1,000 in ads and I get 100 customers, that would make my cost per customer $100. Senior, does that make sense to you? I know. Your mic's on
I was
mute.
talking with my mic muted. My lips are moving. Nothing's happening. Yeah. So yeah, of course it makes sense. I'm getting echo from you though.
You're getting an echo, huh?
Yeah. Why did I get that?
I'm not sure. So you get what I was saying about cost per customer? Your mic's on mute.
No, that's not. I just don't want the echo.
Oh, okay, cool.
Something you did made an echo.
All right, cool. So let's move forward then. If you guys are following along, you guys get that part. Go ahead and type in a number 2 so I can move forward. I don't want to move too quickly so you guys can't understand what I'm saying. It's important that you guys can follow along here.
We're following.
All right, cool.
And the echo stopped too. So yes, it makes great sense. As most people, Dwayne Jr., who get into doing ads, they say, "Oh, good, somebody came up with a product that says $5 or $10 ads. I'll run one," and that's all they do. There's no metrics. There's no method to the madness, and this is the part they've been missing. Because once you can identify the cost of the customer, you're going to actually tell them how valuable it is. So absolutely makes sense. But whatever you did, it got rid of the echoes. Thank you very much. And I don't know what it was, but it's working good now. So go ahead, show them the rest. Point number 1, right?
Cool. All right, let's move forward. All right, cool. So you guys get it. So figure out what your cost per customer is, all right? How much you can spend in advertising to acquire a new customer. So like I said in my example, here's what cost per customer means. If you spend $1,000 in ad and you get 100 customers, that means you spend $100 to get that customer. That's an example of buying a customer, okay? Step 2, what's your cost per lead? You know, how much can you afford to spend for each lead you get? To figure out your cost per lead, here's the formula, okay? You take your money spent and you divide that by the number of leads acquired in that campaign. So example, if I get 290 leads from $500 spent, that's actually right. It's $1.72. Sorry, guys, but it's $1.72. So if you spend $500, right, and you get 290 leads, your cost per lead is $1.72. All right. So step 1, get your cost per customer. Step 2, get your cost per lead. Okay, cool. Step 3, what's that? What's your cost per click? You got to know all these types of things. I mean, a lot of times people go into advertising, right? And they're okay, I'm just going to spend this $5 and see if I make a quick sale. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works. You have to track stuff. You have to know what your metrics are. So we talked about the value per customer. We talked about the cost per customer. We talked about the cost per lead.
Yeah.
One of the biggest metrics when advertising is going to be cost per click. Senior, were you going to say something?
No. I was actually commenting. I was validating what you were saying with a yeah.
Okay, cool. So now that we talked about that stuff, one of the biggest things is going to be setting your goals according to your value per customer. What do I mean by that? This is the most important part, is knowing what goals to set according to how much money you make for each customer that buys. Here's a quick example of what that means. If you make $300 for each sale that you make, here's an example. What a good goal would be to go for 50 cents per click, 29% opt-in rate, and 1% sales rate. So in that example, what that would mean would be at 1,000 clicks for 50 cents per click, you only spend $500. And for those 1,000 clicks, you would get 290 leads, and 290 leads, you get 3 sales. It's a lot of math here, which is why I'm telling you guys, in West Palm Beach, you guys will get a better grasp of this. But for those of you guys who are into math and into this kind of stuff, you guys will be able to understand how to predict the number of sales you're going to make for each amount of money you spend.
But I'll go a step further and say if you're into making sales,
yeah,
right? Even if you're not into doing the math, because a lot of people don't like that. People get lazy when it comes to math. But without doing the math, you cannot make the money at the level we're talking about. So just at least hear it first, and then when you watch the replay, you can hear it again. And when we see in West Palm Beach, you can really put this thing into action. So yeah. Sorry for interrupting, man.
No, what a great point. So basically, if you guys are selling something, you're making $300 for each sale. If you can get 1,000 clicks at just 50 cents per click, you'd only spend $500, okay, to make $900. I'm sure that part you can understand, okay? So if your average cost, if you get $300 for each person that buys, and you can get 3 sales from those $300, you made $900. That's $400 profit. That's what we call buying customers. The formula is here. I gave it to you guys. If you can get, for example, 290 leads from 1,000 clicks, all that is a 29% opt-in rate, as I listed here, which is not that difficult. A lot of you guys have page assistant, whether it's IC marketing funnels, whether it's lead pages, you can track your opt-in rate there. How many people put in their name and email address on a percentage? If you can get 1% of people who opt in to buy, okay, you're looking at 3 sales from 290 leads. And a lot of times you guys can get more than 1%, but at a 1% sales rate, you'd be making $900 for this $300 product. This is a lot of numbers, but the only way you guys can really dive deep into this formula is by using it and by studying this. You guys are probably gonna have to watch this webinar again, but this stuff works. This is what, if you guys want to know, I looked up recently, or maybe in the last couple of months, and saw that GoToMeeting, the people who have GoToWebinar, they spend over $290,000 every month in advertising. You guys think they don't know these metrics? This is a big piece of what you guys need to do if you guys are trying to scale your business relatively quickly.
You know, I want to add something to that. You know, a lot of what's going on in the internet marketing space is fly by the seat of your pants. That means, hey, I've been using these great keywords. I'm running an ad. Boom, just throw some money at it. Oh, there's this great idea I have for a landing page. Let me put it up. And there's not much substance, or there's not much data supporting what you're doing. So it's really fly by your seat of pants, Hail Mary, full of grace. It really is it's all about your luck. I mean, what you're talking about here tonight, Junior, it's about how these guys can actually project. Right. You know, you can't run a company without the ability to project what's expected in the next quarter or the next month or in sales or in subscribers. All that stuff's important. And you know what? It's not necessary. This is the part that's not pretty, but the money does not come from the sex appeal. The sex appeal is a byproduct of doing the things that Junior's talking about. So that being said, I can only tell you the work that goes in things behind the scenes long before we ever put anything up, or long before we ever email or run ads. And I'm going to tell you guys something. You just can't underestimate that. If it means you have to go a whole month and miss a whole month of basketball season, of football season, if it means you have to not go to happy hour for an entire 2 months, whatever it takes, do it. You deserve it. Because, Dwayne, here's the sad part. Where we sit tonight, many people, in just 2 months, as we get closer to the holidays, stress levels will be up. The writings of divorcements, attempts, suicide attempts, all of this stuff of finances. And when you're between jobs and stressing over personal problems and the money's not right, it chokes the life out of you. And it doesn't have to be that way. You could be purposeful by taking a formula and going over it and over it and over. And the good news is we're sharing with you now the formula that we use, but at the same time, it's scaled to be insurmountable for you. But what's great about this is we're going to go into great detail in West Palm Beach on October 23rd, 24th, where we have 2 days where you can go into the content and make sure you're not left empty-handed, but you're ready to take on not just the rest of this year, but also 2016 by storm. Junior, that's great stuff. You know, I've got to ask you, I don't think many of these guys don't realize, you know, when we started internet marketing, I admit we were just throwing stuff out there. We didn't have anybody to tell us this stuff. Right. We didn't have anybody to tell us you can actually lay down a foundation so you can project and actually have an idea and estimate and have a great expectation of what's coming back, what the return is. If you're just throwing money in the wind, you can't measure your investment. You might be losing. Sorry, go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying I spent a lot of money to learn that little bit I showed you guys there. And I understand it might be over some of you guys' heads by a little bit because I wasn't able to break it down and go slowly through it on a webinar. But the good news is you guys have opportunity. Guys, we're going to meet up in West Palm Beach. I don't know if you guys seen the emails or not. We're meeting up in West Palm Beach. We're going to be able to talk about your business, different things we use to grow ours and how you can use that in your own. And this is one of the major things we're going to be talking about there. how you guys, for those of you guys who are struggling to get traffic, for those of you guys who are struggling to get a regular lead flow, how you guys can begin to predict and expect a certain amount of sales from your marketing efforts. And for those of you guys who are like, oh man, but it's in Florida, I'm sorry. So there's certain things you got to be able to do and sacrifice in order to get there. You guys don't think we've spent money on events or books in order to learn the stuff we know? I just told you, I spent $500 on a 1 hour coaching call to learn that formula from a guy that
I remember that too.
That's how I learned it. But a lot of you guys would never even think to do that. I'm telling you guys, you have an opportunity to meet with Senior and I, Henry Gold, and talk about your business. You guys are going to be there. It's going to be a limited number of people. So you guys can get that one-on-one time. So I look forward to seeing a lot of you guys there. This is going to be huge. You guys are going to be able to learn this formula in depth and how it applies to your business.
Yeah. How many of you right now would admit, let me just ask this question. How many of you will admit, it's a struggle really to do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So what you do is you just randomly send an email because it's a good idea. You also may just run an ad. You might just go ahead and do retargeting, but there's no science behind it and there's no methodology behind it. How many of you admit that, that's where you are? And certainly if you can plug in formulas so you can always make sure you're getting a return, of course, a profitable return, that's good. Type in the number 3 if you recognize that, because here's the deal, Dwayne Jr. When we got started, there was like, hey, the first 3 things were great. The second 5 things didn't work. But we didn't know. It's because we were random and flying by the seat of our pants. And you don't have to do that. You literally could be intentional. And we're not selling anything, Rob. It was just the formula. That's it. That's what he was going over. So when you watch the replay, look at it again. It wasn't a product he's selling. He's showing you what we do when it comes to buying, with the term of buying customers. How you actually can measure using the metrics and know exactly what each customer cost you and each subscriber. Does it make sense, Rob? Anyway, good deal. Yeah, so, Dwayne Jr., it's a lot of people don't talk about it, but even some of the people we may consider to be top affiliate marketers are pretty much just random. But a lot of the folks that really get this stuff, they don't ever leave home without the metrics, right? They don't leave home without measuring. And many of the thought leaders in the industry have always said, hey, if you can't measure it, it can't happen. So anyway, to make a long story short, it's a good point. So step 1, Dwayne, what was it? Step 1 was?
I'm going to go back to, want me to share my screen again?
Yeah, sure.
Let me share my screen real quick.
Oh, sorry, Rob. The vent is nothing. Normally we charge like usually anywhere from $2.99, sometimes as low as $1.99. But this is $49 for you and a guest if you want to go.
So it's really $25 per person, but it's $50 plus 1. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
Okay. So no, you don't have to show us. Just tell them. It's just step 1.
Step 1, you got to figure out your cost per customer.
That's it. You got to figure it out. You're not going to already know it. So don't try to have everything done in advance in a microwave. Take the time to know.
Right. And the most important piece is knowing how much you make for each customer you get. So that's a very big piece of it as well. And then step 2 is figure out how much your cost per lead is. You can figure out your cost per lead by dividing the amount of money you spend on your campaign by the number of leads you get. Okay?
Got it?
Boom. And then step 3, what's your cost per click? How much you spending per click? How can you get that lower? Because by getting that number lower, you're spending less and able to make more money by doing that.
So,
boom.
That being said, what do you get if you just go into a crowd and make a statement? What do you get if you just get in a car and start driving? You don't check the gas. You don't really know where you're going. You just start driving. That's what the experience of most people are like who are doing internet marketing. And I say that you all deserve to have something of substance that you can actually follow so that you can have some success on the internet and not just be random, because I'm amazed. I am amazed at what a person uses to decide what they're going to promote, what to decide, okay, I'm just going to put money in an ad. I'll just run some ads. I'll set my limit at, $50 a day, and then they just walk away. There are things you must do, and trust me, it's worth it. I mean, it's crazy. We don't have 20 minutes a day or 50 minutes a day to learn how to do this stuff right, but yet we'll spend 12 years in primary education. Then a lot of people go the extra 4 years to master something where they unfortunately can be completely displaced and sent somewhere new. You can do this stuff and still have all that, but you can do this stuff and make it count, guys. But you cannot be lazy. There comes a time where in order to learn how to do this, you can't know the math already. You have to learn it. And that means get past the learning curve. And that means, watch how I say this. That means you have to know what to say no to and when to say no to it. Sometimes it means your favorite programming. It means, unfortunately, this week I cannot go to Cousin Eddie's house because I'm learning something. I'll do that later, but I've got to get this down. I can't spend any more money in advertising until I get this down. I don't want to put up any more capture pages if I don't know how to gauge and measure how many are coming through a week or a day. So anyway, I don't want to harp on that too much, but you get
I get it, man. But you know what? The truth is, a lot of you guys are gonna need to go out to the event. If you guys want more details about how you can use it in your own business, go to mygoldenevents.com and be there.
Well, none of that, yeah. And that's one of many things we're going to cover. We're going to actually talk about exactly how to leverage systems in your business, things that work when you're not working, when you're sleeping, how they can work, and literally how to build the processes that are not about looking good. It's about making money. Because let me tell you something. This stuff doesn't happen from an ego. It happens from putting the right things in place. And certainly doing the math is one. Another is applying yourself. You don't have to become me or Junior. You don't have to become Henry Gold. You don't have to become Ron Douglas. You don't have to become Jonathan Tang. You don't have to become Charles Harper. We're going to walk with you how to plug you into your business so that it can fly and take wings. You deserve it. Certainly. We've been doing webinars every Monday night, and a lot of stuff isn't even applied. You guys hear it, you applaud it, but don't apply it. We want to actually help you to master the art of applying what you hear so you can start seeing the results. So hope that's helpful. By the way, I'll say this to you guys. You guys are amazing. We have some really cool stuff coming as the months move forward, but we want to just encourage you. You can do this, but you can't do it as if it's a hobby, because if generating income on the internet is a hobby for you, it will pay you worse, right, or less than your worst job. It's just the way it works. It's just going to be an expense for you. We want to help you so it can be the thing that helps you to reach those dreams that you and your family paint. Those things, one day you want to have that home near your town where you grew up, or a cabin. Maybe you want to have that amazing education for your child in the private school. That stuff, dreams are fueled from the work you do when no one's looking. What's going on behind closed doors, how you're applying yourself. That's our commitment to you guys, is to keep bringing it to the forefront so you can learn it, so you can master it, and step into your power that way. There you go. I don't want to ramble. So anyway, you guys are awesome. You know that. And Dwayne Jr., thanks for sharing that concept. So one more time, I hate to, don't show your screen. Just kind of like show. If you could just say step one, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to type them in so these guys can get it. Step one.
First things first. Figure out how much money you make for each customer you have. So like, what's your value per customer? Each time you make a sale, or each time someone goes down your funnel, what's your average value per customer? That's the first metric you need.
I got it. Customer. All right. So which value each customer? Yep, got it. What's the next one?
Value per customer first. Second, since you know your value per customer, how much can you afford to spend for each customer? What can be your cost per customer? You got to predetermine how much you can afford to spend per customer.
Oh, I don't write as well as you. Okay, got it.
Next, how much can you afford to spend per lead?
Boom.
Typically, you can usually expect at least one sale from 100 leads. At least. That's a 1% sales conversion rate.
All right, got it. Boom.
Bang.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Hey. All right. So, guys, bottom line is this.
There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more I can go into about how you can determine this stuff, what you should be spending per click, what you should be spending per lead, all that kind of stuff. But it's literally impossible to jump into all that tonight without having you guys
have them here till midnight.
Out about what I mean when I say this. A lot of you guys are gonna need to go down there to West Palm Beach and see my screen open up in front of you guys.
Along with other tips and tricks and stuff we're going to be able to share live. But in the meantime, you guys are awesome. And I want to encourage you, for those of you that, especially those of you that are still sitting on the fence, haven't done your first webinar, you haven't applied a lot of hearing because you find yourself very busy and overwhelmed. I want to encourage you, take one step at a time, do something every day. Learn something new that you don't know about your business, regardless of what your schedule is looking like. You got to find a way. We all are only given 168 hours a week, but the sooner you learn to work smart and not so hard, the sooner you're going to have more time available for it. This is Dwayne Golden Sr. and
Dwayne Golden Jr. You guys have a great night.
You guys have a great night. And for those of you that we'll see in West Palm Beach, we're looking forward to that. Otherwise, we'll see you next Monday night on, of course, our webinar, our Monday Night Fusion call. What's our main source of traffic, Kervin? Good question, man.
To be honest, a lot of it is email traffic. But before that, other than email traffic, we use paid traffic as well from Facebook.
Yeah. Paid and then searches, things like that. Kervin, good question. But I'll tell you this. The more you do it, the less you have to fight for the traffic. So a lot of you guys, the thing you're missing is getting started. If you'd asked that question 5 years ago, it's a different answer. If you asked that question even 10 years ago, it's completely different. As you grow in this internet marketing space and apply yourself, it's not about sources. Your sources of traffic will change because some will be because they're following what you're putting down, the leads you're putting before them. Others will be from paid ads. Then, as Dwayne Jr. said, email messaging. And then if you own our stuff, we get traffic from other stuff that we own out there that just collects leads and it makes sales each day. So there's different things out there. It just depends. Where I'm hoping you guys will go is a place where it can grow for you as well, just like that. And that'll come from your application. Anyway, have a good night. You guys are thebomb.com. Take care.